Here is Charlie Kirk. He is on with this guy, Steve Hilton, on Fox News. Now, Charlie Kirk, he's had a rough couple of days, ladies and gentlemen. He's had to delete tweets where he was bragging about sending buses of people, funding the transportation of buses of people down to this insurrection. And so here he is on Fox News now talking about what it's going to take to build unity. If you've watched even 5 minutes of anything that Charlie Kirk has had to say over the course of the past, 4 or 5 years, the idea that this guy's now calling for unity should be an indication that he sort of feels like he's on the losing end of something.
Welcome back. With a 50-50 split in the Senate and a Democratic majority in the House, the left will be pushing hard for a second impeachment this week if the 25th Amendment is not invoked, as Nancy Pelosi has just tonight called for. With only days left in President Trump's term, is this really what the country needs right now? Charlie, is it?
Absolutely not. I mean, only further rip our country apart. The promise of former Vice President Joe Biden is to try to heal the country, and this would only tear the country apart, almost on a political revenge campaign. This is the last thing the country needs right now, but the Democrats, as Tammy mentioned in the previous segment, their goal right now is to try and almost erase the entire history of the Trump administration and the presidency that he's had. They want to
pause it. Oh, we're going to talk about erasing history. We're talking about erasing history as you're pretending like an insurrection that just happened, a violent attempt, a violent mob that came in and 5 people are dead, including your beloved cops. You want to pretend that didn't happen. That's the exact fiction that you're adhered to. Nobody else is trying to erase anything. That's what you're trying to do. Justice versus pretending this didn't happen.
And the real question is like, wait. Why is there such a tear in the fabric of American society that it needs to be healed? I mean, you just had 4 years of half of it total Republican control, the other half of it with the control of the Senate and the presidency. Why is there no accountability for the lack of unity in this country from the Republican Party? I mean, that is a failure of, well, I don't know, to the extent that he can even say that with a straight face makes it, a failure on some level of the politicking by Democrats on some level. Because, I mean, it was just the sheer existence of Barack Obama was polarizing for people for whatever reason.
And what could it be?
All right, continue to play Charlie Kirk.
Of the Trump administration and the presidency that he's had. They want to eliminate everything. They want to try to make sure that another positive populist movement can never rise again. And so that this is a strategic plan by Nancy Pelosi. And boy, if you want to just continue these awful divides and try to anger half the country, I guess this is the playbook to do that.
Yeah, I mean, what might have been more divisive would have been the gang of people trying to overthrow the election and a dozen senators and over 100 members of Congress siding with them. But yeah, let's just pretend that didn't happen. So, I mean, talk about erasure.
Short-term memory erasure.
Every time I hear the word populism come out of one of these guys' mouths, I just cringe.
Yeah, it's just they think populism is just saying curse words when you're the president. That's their kind of idea of it.
I mean, populism is like kind of a nebulous, vague, therefore bad thing, right? Because right-wing populism is a real thing, but it makes me nervous anytime the right and the left get collapsed into one like that. Certainly when people like Charlie Kirk pretend like this is a movement that is really a grassroots movement for the people, for the working people of this country.
Yeah, it's pro-boss populism.
It's totally grassroots, which is why I was responsible for sending 8 buses of people from the millions of dollars that I get from my right-wing billionaires.